The American education system is an evil exploitation camp for the students and especially the teachers. The Common Core curriculum has given birth to a new crisis of education. It has fanned the flames of the Great Resignation in America by the teaching community of teachers and educators who, despite their sheer knowledge and noble profession, are paid in chump change. The tradition of passing knowledge to the newer generations has now become a sham. The problem is so big that even people like Elon Musk has publicly stated that he doesn't believe in the education system and his children study in a specially designed school by their own father. There are millions of kids who don't have a father like that. But despite limited options, American children are dropping out of school and American parents are preferring homeschooling over the structured and regulated state standard of Common Core. Today, the annual revenue from the field of education is close to a $900 billion estimation, despite an ongoing education crisis. The looming shortage of teachers and the teaching faculty in the USA is raising a red alert of concern levels. Moreover, a survey by Forbes has revealed that the enrollment in colleges and universities were at their peak in 2010, but has been constantly tasting decline since then. Over 1/4 of children involved in elementary and secondary education, K-12, are chronically absent now. And the funniest part in the entire scenario, America is ranked at the first position for having the best education system in the whole world. The problem is so critical that over 66% of students are disengaged from studies by the time they pass out the 12th grade. The per-student spending has increased by over 150% in the last 50 years, yet no improvements were observed in the outcomes of K-12. The education loan is another trap that engulfs the student and his family with passing years. Today, the total student loan in America amounts to $1.5 trillion, and every year, $90 billion more is added to the mentioned amount. Ironically, America is claimed to be the best country of education, but 46% of graduates in America do not consider themselves ready to be able to join the workforce of the country. Another big reason for the drop in numbers is due to the financial strains and difficulties a middle-class American is dealing with. And with no food on the table, nobody sends their children to educate. With rising inflations, metro city residents are settling down in the countryside and opting their kids to personal homeschooling methods. There is a severe drop in childbirths in America, and this depopulation is also something that contributes marginally to the crisis of education in America. We must also understand that schools alone cannot meet the learning needs of the children, particularly those from disenfranchised communities. As a result, there is growing interest in identifying out-of-school opportunities that complement in-school learning and result in improved academic achievement and developmental outcomes. In earlier times, when schools didn't exist, churches and other religious places were the supreme center point of education, and things were all good until billionaires like John D. Rockefeller, who owned multiple corporations and had even acquired oil wells. But to run them smoothly, he needed skilled labor who were well versed with the machines and their workings. But to train such a massive workforce, it was not something he was willing to invest in, as it was just an added overhead cost which would marginalize his profit from generating revenue. So, with help of then intellectuals, they came up with a sham of modern-day education through the means of a separate institution labeled as schools. Hence, schools and colleges came into existence, and with extension awareness campaigns and marketing gimmicks, the masses were tricked into believing how school education was going to be superior from church education, which diverted children into it. Now, they designed the syllabus and subjects around the things they wanted the children to be skilled with. It was another source of revenue, plus after school, the graduates were trained professionals ready to take up jobs. In fact, this was the exact strategy that was used in colonization in countries like India, Malaysia, African countries, etc. As it is rightly said, to colonize a land, colonize the mind of the children, and which was exactly done. The English education system was and is a sham that was implanted and imposed to train laborers and robots for their own benefit and not for the welfare of the world. Common Core is not or never was a curriculum or method of teaching. It is more of a regulated syllabus that talked about the topics and standards to be covered at every grade that was to be followed nationwide. Common Core as an addition was fine and represented a step in the right direction. Unfortunately, as is common when things start to become mandates, as the only way, it was a giant step backwards into the absurd. We literally created a math system that was not suited to logical learners. In fact, English scores have alarmingly dropped in the country that has second biggest population of English speakers, and yet average drop of 3 points for 4th grade students and 3 points for 8th grade students have been observed lately. It is so concerning that 66% of 4th grade students and 69% of 8th grade students were found to be below proficient in reading. And now, recognizing that reading is a basic skill fundamental for all other academic learning, the education crisis in America is pretty severe. Teachers in America are on a resigning spree, as if they are being paid to leave their jobs now. Since COVID hit, American teachers are pivoting their careers and opting for other sectors to work in. Reason being, underpayment and low wages that are at times lower than the minimum pay mark in the country. Most of the teachers are forced to the path of moonlighting to make ends meet. And with such high knowledge, education, degrees, certifications, and yet not being able to manage expenses takes a toll on the mind, distorts self-esteem and self-confidence, and an increment in self-doubt begins to occur. Teaching is an extremely noble profession, and when these noble professionals fail to get food on their tables, what is the use of such a work, no matter how noble? The lack of respect for their profession and over-intervention, over-regulation and over-politicization of the field of education are some other key factors that are responsible for why the educators today are on a resigning spree. Today, 77% of teachers have confessed that they would not recommend anyone else to the sector of teaching. Over 61% of them are dissatisfied with their jobs. Over 45% of them are struggling to maintain a work-life balance. Over 37% of them are unsure if they will still be tutoring 5 years from now. It is truthfully disheartening to see such teachers feeling so tired and unsupported. Educators are asking for help, and their calls must be answered by treating them with the respect they deserve. I mean, we do not have a backup plan to teach our children. If the demands of the educators and teachers are not fulfilled soon in time, then teaching could be the first profession, first job in the world that would be taken over by AI, and that too, not because of the excellence and superlative approach of the AI over humans, but because humans would have refused to do it. The condition of resignation is so critical that some organizations are training para-professionals and granting them teaching degrees to defend against the shortage of teachers in America. The only way to fight against the education crisis in America and increase the quality of education in the country is by reimagining the public education methods and standards. Firstly, individualized education should be the primary focus, as the current curriculum overlooks the fact that each child is unique and may excel in different fields or genres. Self-directed learning should be promoted more, and the benefits of individualized learning should be used as a tool to raise awareness. More funds must be redirected to education, and teachers must be paid at par with their educational qualification. If not more, then at least similar to what they can earn in different industries, if not tutoring. Teaching should be promoted as a desirable and high-paying profession that could attract better candidates to teaching. And the overpressure on young learners should be lessened. Standardized tests could be eliminated, and de-emphasizing on grades should be introduced and normalized. And the overall education shall be made affordable for everyone.